Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of the Spurs Chat Podcast, where, of course, in this edition we will be talking about the Tottenham Hotspur v Burnley game, where Tottenham Hotspur are back to winning ways, 3 points against Burnley. Now, we are live on YouTube, we are live on X and also Facebook, so please do get involved. Let us know where you are watching or listening to this podcast from around the world. Now, as I said, Tottenham Hotspur 2, Burnley 1. Larson put Burnley 1-0 up after 25 minutes. Pedro Porro equalised in the 32nd minute. And our player of the season, Mickey van der Ven, got our winner 8 minutes from time in the 82nd minute. Tottenham Hotspur remain fifth in the Premier League table. We now have 63 points from 36 games. It is mathematically possible that Spurs could finish in the top four with 2 wins, and Aston Villa, of course, losing both games. Newcastle are 6 points behind Spurs in 6th spot with 57 points from 36 games. Now, let's have a look at the match stats. Shots on target, Spurs had 9 to Burnley's 3. Shots off target, Spurs had 6 to Burnley's 2. Block shots, Spurs had 6 to Burnley's 2. Touches in the opposition box, Spurs with a staggering 45 touches to Burnley's 12. Goalkeeper saves, Spurs 2, Burnley 7. Aerial duels 1, Spurs 7, Burnley 11. Fouls, Spurs 10, Burnley 14. And corners, Spurs had 9 to Burnley's 3. Now, as per usual, I've got 3 very special guests, and they're all smiling because, of course, we've won at last after 4 straight defeats. We've got actor Ricky Norwood back with us. Ricky, how are you?
Bro, it's about time, bro. I don't care. It's 3 points. It's a win after the last couple of weeks. Boy, did we need a win. Boy, did we need a win. Boy, did we need a response and some grit, some determination, and some fight. And for that, for that final whistle to be blown and for us to just secure 3 points on the damn board. So today, I'm a happy boy. Let's keep it rolling. Let's have a great pod. Let's have it. Come on, you Spurs.
Back with us, and it has been far too long. We've got Leo the Lion back with us, of course, former singer with the Streets. Leo, how are you?
I'm great, man. Obviously, like Ricky said, the sun's out, the temperature's beautiful. We got 3 points, that's what we need, especially, like Ricky said, off the back of 4 straight humiliating defeats. So I feel good, man. I'm glad to be back on your show.
And also back with us, channel regular, Craig Dearman. Craig, how are you?
I'm really happy today because Romford won the FA Vase. So anybody from Essex who's anywhere near Romford win a trophy. Tottenham win today, back to winning ways. The sun's out. It's Eurovision tonight, so I think we're going to do even worse than we've done in previous years. Apart from Sam Ryder, because he should have won. But guilty pleasure tonight of mine, bit of Eurovision. But seeing back to football, seeing Tottenham win. Thank God for Mickey van der Ven, by the way. I don't know where we'd be this season without Mickey van der Ven. No striker scoring goals again today. But look, we got the 3 points. We need a point to guarantee Europa League football. I think we're well out of the Champions League, even though mathematically possible we could still do it. But I'd settle for Europa. I'd settle for 1 point, just not against City, unless Arsenal lose tomorrow, and then we can go and beat City, and everything's status quo. So that will be very interesting. If Arsenal lose tomorrow, we could still beat City, and Villa lose, going down to the final day for Champions League. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We won today, and that's all that matters.
You are getting ahead, Craig. You certainly are.
Yeah.
Ricky, let's start the show with you. It's great to get back to winning ways. It wasn't the perfect performance. Of course, Burnley did take the lead in the game. It was frustrating at times. How did you see the game? What are your thoughts?
I think the boys came out and they wanted to prove a point. I think they wanted to show a bit of a reaction. So straight away, there was, passing, there was movement, there was trying things, there was trying to make things happen. Now, Burnley's goal was a great goal, the way that they scored it. And again, Chris, way too easy, the way that we conceded it, the way that they cut through us and and we conceded that goal. But we showed some fight today, and it was tough because there was a lot that wasn't happening. There was a lot of decisions in the final third today, whether it was a pass or a cross or going long or going short. There was just the wrong decision being made left, right, and centre. And I think that's to do with their nervousness. I think that's to do with their anxiousness about trying to get back in the game and then going on to win it. Do you know what I mean? You know, in front of the fans today after those last 4 games, there had to be something going on. But I think that was to do more with nervousness. But again, you know, Pedro, I mean, what a goal by him. He didn't have the greatest of games. He looks a lot better today than he has done, but he didn't have the greatest of games either, and he had to find his feet. But what a goal by him. And then in the second half, I felt that, you know, we really went for it. Like we looked closer to what we've been like than in previous weeks. Hello, how you doing, mate? You all right? Come on, you Spurs. But yeah, we was looking a lot more like ourselves in the second half, and we was determined to get that second goal. And like, if it wasn't for those like slight decisions, I think, you know, Brennan Johnson today, there was a couple of times, more than 2 or 3 times, where he could have either found the man with a short pass, pulled it back into the area, or got his shot on target, you know. And I think we could have been more goals ahead. But good response from the boys. It was all about those 3 points today, and we done it. Come on, you Spurs.
Leo, let's come to you now. You haven't been on all season, so give us your thoughts on Ange Postecoglou, how the season's gone for you. Have you been pleased? Is it progress? The fact that Spurs are 5th, it looks like we're going to be playing Europa League football next year, and your thoughts on the performance today.
Well, I'm great to be back. You know, it's been a minute, nearly 6 months. I think the last time I was on the show was, I think, January the 1st, I believe, which is 5 months ago. Do the maths. So, but yeah, you know, obviously, as you know, we had a fantastic start. Everyone got gassed up. Everyone was excited about the whole, you know, Spurs, you know, top of the league and stuff like that. So, and then obviously we had the injuries, and then, you know, we kind of dipped in form a lot. Everyone was out. And then, obviously, I don't think we've actually even got back to the form that we actually did for the first 10 games. That's for sure. Because back then, we were playing like some delicious football, like one-touch passing. It was just gung-ho, attacking football, goals galore. It's been a long time that I've had the feeling of watching Spurs and having a smile on my face. Even when we lost those games after those injuries, I still enjoyed watching how we played. But obviously, since then, when we started losing again just recently, I've not enjoyed the football. The football's been poor. It's just been horrible. It just reminded me of just back those couple of years ago when I'm watching Spurs again. We're going to concede. The football's dreadful, and I'm there abusing players. You know, because obviously I want players. Anyone that puts on a Spurs shirt, I want them to win. But then now, I find myself just abusing Spurs players, Emerson, you know, Richarlison, you know, players like that who have really annoyed me. And so, yes, we are 5th. If you told me if we were going to get 5th before the season, I would have grabbed that. I would have said, yes, 5th, Europa League, we're back in Europe. This is fantastic. Champions League, I was thinking, nah, probably not a chance based on what we had last season. But if you said 5th, I would have said yes. So overall, I think we've had a great season because we've actually hit rock bottom last season, and it looks like we've got a plan somewhere where we're going. It looks like we're moving forward, especially with the introduction of Udogie, Van der Ven, players like that. I can see some Ange looking to do something. There's a lot of players that are going to be coming out this season for next season, new players coming in, which I believe is going to be great. Now, I just want to say one thing. I actually don't mind not qualifying for Champions League. And the reason why I say that is because we're not going to win Champions League, right? I think we've got more of a chance in the Europa League at winning that than Champions League. And if we can go to next season with better players, we've got a stronger chance of winning. That's something that we can actually win as opposed to the Champions League. And if we do win that next season, then it's fantastic. People will actually prefer that. So overall, I'm happy. I'm happy with Ange. I think the Spurs fans should back him. I think Levy should back him. The summer's going to be exciting. We know what we need. And so, yeah, overall, Chris, I will give this season 7.8 out of 10.
That's good for you. Craig, let's come to you. Let's get your thoughts on today's win.
Yeah, obviously great to be back on the winning trail. after 4 defeats. But that was a must-win game today, wasn't it? You know, we couldn't have lost to Burnley, with all due respect to them. I wasn't really worried during the game, even when they went 1-0 up. I knew we'd get back into it. I just always had that thought that we would dominate in possession and most of the play today. I don't think Burnley really showed that much. It was a bit worrying that, again, our forward line didn't look brilliant, I have to say, but I have to give it to Ange. The substitutions were pretty spot on, and the tactical aspect of moving Sonny to the left, I think everybody could see that reaped its rewards in the end, and it just totally changed everything. Maddison, still don't think is back to his best. I still have, there's a few wayward crosses and passes there. Probably a bit of frustration creeping into Maddison as well with those. You could see there was one ball he put across the box in the second half. I don't know what he was trying to do. It nearly went out for a throw in the other side. But look, all in all, it was just about getting the points on the board today. I think it's too late in the season to start worrying about too much about players' formations. We got 2 games left. We just need to get it over the line, get that Europa League spot. I agree with Leo. I'm not too fussed about Champions League because I think the Europa League is probably our standard at the moment, and just build in the summer. I think with the players Ange is looking to bring in, I don't think getting Champions League is going to be neither here nor there. It's not going to sway the players he's going to want to bring in one way or the other. So, and the few of the names we've been linked to, I'm quite excited with. So it's quite clear, Chris, that building needs to be done. We still need players in, but getting the 3 points was the most important thing today, I think.
One really interesting thing today. The reason why we're recording the podcast an hour later than usual, because I know we normally go live straight after the game. The players had a lap of appreciation today, where all of the players, their families, their kids, etc., walked around the pitch. I would say probably half to a third of the crowd stayed to appreciate the team, what they've done and achieved this season. They played songs connected to each player and manager, and I haven't heard Ange Postecoglou's name sung, for quite a long time. Certainly those 4 defeats before today's game, but they played the Angels song, and every single Spurs fan inside the stadium sung Andrew's name, which you could tell it meant a lot to him today. He was with his wife and his kids, and it meant a lot to him. Ricky, what do you make of the criticism that Andrew's received recently?
Some of it is fair, Chris. Some criticism is fair, and I don't think there's no manager out there that is immune to criticism. I think, there's been times where the press or the media or fans have questioned Pep Guardiola, and I mean, how much has he won and achieved, but in a tumultuous season, when things have gone up, down, left and right, we have to remember what this guy had to do. And I think that the interview that he done during the week on Optus Sports, I think was a great interview. If you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube. He sits down for about 10 minutes and he kind of goes through it after these 4 losses. But he loves being here, and he's been very consistent throughout the season, where he's allowed the crowd to feel and to share what they feel and they will need to share. Now, whether that be the praise and the love and the delirium at the beginning of the season, or whether that be criticize him for certain tactics or the team not showing up, it's fair. I don't think he's immune from that, and I think he'll take that on the chin, and I think that he will also kind of learn what players are needed and what players can step up to the system and which ones can't. I mean, he's been very fair on the squad the whole way through. He knows that we've had a bumpy road with injuries, suspensions, loss of form. It was only today, a little while before the game started, that I realized that Richarlison was out. Yesterday in the press conference, there was no injuries. Do you know what I mean? And then we had Richarlison is out. So it's been tough. But I think the criticism is fair, but I don't think that means that he should be sacked. I think that his philosophy, his drive, his direction, his plan is going to be a successful one for Tottenham once all the pieces are there for him to kind of use and abuse and kind of help us play that style of football. I think the biggest thing, what Leo said a bit earlier, in the games that we've lost before, we've enjoyed the football because we've gone out fighting. Like, we've still continued to play that Ange way, to play that Tottenham way until the very last second. And over the last couple of defeats, we haven't seen that. When we haven't seen them play the way and lose, that's when we're most frustrated, which says to me, like, firstly, believe in what the manager's doing, but there's certain players that can't play that way, or loss of form, etc., like that. But he hasn't got the tools to fully 100% play the Ange way as yet. So I think criticism can be taken. I think he will learn from it. But I believe in him and the direction that we're going in the players that he picks, transfer market wise, and and the way that he plays football going forward. I think that's the way.
Leo, let's come to you. I'm going to ask you the same question about Ange Postecoglou, because there has been mixed feedback on the Tottenham Hotspur head coach this season. Of course, everyone enjoyed the first 10 games. Some people have been quite negative in recent weeks. You know, when you lose against Arsenal, Chelsea, of course, it's never easy for any of us. The way that we lost at Newcastle, the way that we lost last week against Liverpool, going 4-0 down. What have you made of Ange's time, and do you think that he is the man to take us forward to perhaps lift a trophy after this very long drought?
You're on mute, bruv. You're on mute, brother.
Sorry about that. So I really like Ange. I really like what he's done so far. I can understand the criticism that fans have. Now the problem, I can understand the criticism, but the problem is the fans. It's all our expectations. Okay, like we sometimes Spurs fans, we kind of get a little bit carried away, especially when we have a great start, like 10 games, top of the league. Even me, I'm getting gassed. I think, we can win it. We can, and we get a bit ahead of ourselves. And he's come in and totally transformed this team.
Hold on. You are one of them, Leo.
I am one of them. I told you.
Winning the Premier League title under Antonio Conte.
Well, yeah, I did before he flaked. But anyway, stop harassing me. All right, let me continue what I was saying. Right, leave me alone. So yeah, we get excited, and what he's done is actually transformed Spurs totally. The way we play, just the whole energy that he's brought, is totally transformed Spurs, and we're playing much better football now. Now the thing is with it is that his tactics, he likes to play a certain way, and it's his way, and it's his way, right? Regardless of what anyone says, regardless of what the fans say, regardless of whether we win, lose, or draw, he likes to press. He likes that high line, and whether we win or lose, you saw how it was against Chelsea. Whatever. Even the game against Chelsea when we went to 9 men, he said, "This is how we are. This is. He kind of put a start down and said, "This is how we are. This is what we're going to do. Regardless of who we're playing, we're going to play our football." And the thing about that, we are going to get beaten, and playing that sort of game is risky. And so even Celtic fans say that, expect a 4-0 drumming, or expect to get bad one of these games based on how they play. Now, Ange hasn't had all the players in. This is not an Ange team fully. There's more windows to come where Ange brings in players that can play the system that he wants, that do have the legs, that can, continue to, press and not make the mistakes. Players like I said, Emerson, shouldn't even be playing football, period. But yet he's playing for Spurs, and these types of players should not even be near a football pitch, let alone Spurs, And so, but these are the players that he has to work with, and so we can't expect, like, we're lifting the Champions League or the League Cup or whatever, literally coming from where we were last season, okay? And so what Ange has done now, it's a tremendous job. Like, we need to get things into perspective. Based on what we've been experiencing for the past God knows how many seasons to where we are now in the space of 7-8 months, it's quite fantastic. He's actually changed the whole feeling, the whole camaraderie, the whole play. He's given us hope. He's given us a direction of where we want to go. Exciting football, attacking football, goals, pace. All of that is, we can see that as Spurs fans, and so now we feel proud to be Spurs fans. We feel excited, and not even that. I'm sure a lot of other fans, Arsenal fans, or other teams would love to have what we have in that feeling of having a manager that's exciting. A lot of people want Ange based on what Ange has done in 7 months. A lot of teams would take him. There's talk of him even going for Liverpool at one stage. There was talk of him going to Man City at one stage. So we, as Spurs fans, we should feel proud that we have Ange in our place that's going to bring us this great football. Now, if the question you asked, are we going to lift? Do I think we're going to lift something? I believe that if out of anyone, he's going to be the one that's going to bring something. And I'd rather win something under his tutelage, under his style of play, than Conte, than anyone. Because I know it's going to be attacking. I know it's going to be exciting. I know it's going to be last minute, all those last minute winners. How did that make you feel? Those 94th minute goals. We love those. I think that's what Spurs are about, with the Lucas Moura. Those 99-minute goals, we love those. And I can't wait for that more of that to come next season. So I'm Ange in. I'm fully Ange support. I hope we get the players in. I hope we get Levy just supports the guy. And I hope the fans just relax a little bit. Just give him the space to work his magic. Yes, one last point. As far as criticism, I did, for the first time, criticize Ange last week. And the reason why I criticized him, because he played Emerson at left back. Now, I know that my mum could do better at left back, right? I know that. I know that. Listen, I'm being serious. And I'm thinking, how can you play? Even I know he's rubbish, but yet you put him there. And he literally cost us the game last week, right? And so for me, I'm thinking in my head, well, I don't know why he's doing this. Like, surely you could have put any player there, like he did with Skip. He could have put any player there instead of Emerson, but he put Emerson there. So hopefully, that's the only time I've criticized him, for me. So, but he learned his lesson. Everyone's learning. Everyone makes a mistake, even though that was a blatant one. But overall, I'm Ange in. Fans, support him. Have a break this summer. Just call the season over now. We've got top 5. Call the season over, relax, and then just enjoy the summer, and let's look forward for next season. That's where I'm at.
Craig, let's come to you. Paddy writes here, and I completely agree with Paddy's comment. And I actually did a TalkSport interview earlier and said more or less exactly this. The only way that Spurs move forward with Ange is if the board back him what he needs in the summer. The sky's the limit with this fella. And also, Craig, I bumped into a guy called James earlier, a very nice chap. He said, great to meet you earlier, Chris. Don't tell Craig he is the best pundit. He was really singing your praises, saying that Craig, he speaks a lot of sense. So, Craig, let's get your take on Ange Postecoglou and what you've made of him this season.
Well, I'd just like to say thanks to James. The check is in the post, as I used to say. So thank you very much for your comments. It's really nice. And some people are just saying, Leo, your microphone's got a bit of feedback on it. You are quite loud, mate. Louder than normal.
Oh, is it?
Actually.
Okay, hold on. Let me take this off. I think it's just the satellite connection. 1 second.
I thought that was just normal.
Oh yeah, no. Sorry, Chris. What was the question? God, did you ask me about Ange and should he be back?
The best pundit can't even remember the question.
I can't remember the question. I can only remember 3 things at once, and that's the full thing. So
what have you made of Ange Postecoglou, Craig? And what message would you send to the doubters still, the Tottenham Hotspur fans who are still doubting Ange, saying that he hasn't got a plan B?
Well, firstly, I'm still fully behind Ange. Look, it's been a rough road the last few weeks. We've had some rough games, but I was thinking to myself earlier, actually, it's the order those games came in. If they'd been spread out, if there'd been one in January, one in February, people probably wouldn't have been as much upset and up in arms about stuff. But to have that run of fixtures, Newcastle away, Chelsea away, Liverpool away, and Arsenal at home, well, you know there's going to be a tough run of fixtures. You know they're all going to be tough fixtures, but to have them back to back to back to back to back, you know, not many teams would get much out of those games. So I think you know, and this is a first season, just for a bit of balance, really. Look, I was just as annoyed as everyone, but as I've said before on here, we've got to trust this guy. The last manager we've had for a full season was Pochettino back in 18-19. And that's just unbelievable when you think about it. You know, we're nearly half a decade. We are half a decade on from that. And we haven't had a manager for a full season. We've got, at some point, you've got to stop doing what we've done for 5 years. And we've got to trust one manager, because if we sacked Ange, the next manager is going to come in and look at the players. He's going to want his own players in. You're never getting to the point. You get to a point and then you drop down again. You get to a point, then you drop down again. At some point, you've got to start building and building and building. So sacking Ange is not even on the table, in my opinion. We've got to back this guy. And that's the most important thing, is Levy or Scott Munn, whoever it is, the club, backing him and getting the players in that he wants this summer. Yes, we've got to get players out, but that is going to, you know, perhaps we're going to have to take some losses on these players that are not going to be playing for the club next season. The Ndombeles, perhaps the Højbjergs, you know, the players that he don't want. I am sure they're going to be working just as hard getting players out the door as they are getting players in the door. Personally, I probably think we're about 5 or 6 players away from even challenging, and can you do that in one window? I don't know. I don't know how much money we've got to spend. Everything out there would seem to think we've got about 120 million. How much money are you going to get from outgoings? I don't know. Still a lot of work to be done. We're all going to have to be just a bit patient. It's still going to be a rocky road. There's still going to be ups and downs. But I think next season, you're probably going to see us a bit more balanced, I think, rather than this, you know, massive highs and massive lows. I think we're going to be a bit more. I think you can trust in this. You're going to be able to trust in this team a bit more and trust in Ange a bit more. I think he's got, as Ricky said, the criticism he's received. He's a manager of the team. He's made some bad decisions, I think, with substitutes and teams he's put out. But today, I think he got it spot on. I'd love to see us going into playing Man City with Van der Ven on the left and Dragusin in the middle. I think that looks so much more balanced. Mickey getting forward, as we know, his pace. He was rapid, fantastic goal, which we'll come on to. Sonny on the left again. I personally give Dane Scarlett a start. You know, at least you've got a centre forward through the middle, and it releases Son to do what he does best. So it'll be interesting to see what team he picks Tuesday. He's, like I say, he's got some things wrong, but he's got more right than he's got wrong. I think we can all agree on. So, but the main message for me, 100% behind Ange still, back the man, trust in the process, because what else have you got if you don't? You've got to trust the guy. And this season hasn't been terrible. We're in 5th. It's likely we're going to finish 5th, and we're in the Europa League, and then we can all sit back in the summer and relax, enjoy the Euros, and hope for better things next year.
The thing I've said on various podcasts, certainly over the last few weeks, is the fact that we've all got to be realistic about, you know, what was achievable this season. You know, to be in 5th place, to be playing Europa League football next year, I think is pretty decent. And I think if the board do heavily back Ange Postecoglou again, like they have done in the 2 transfer windows that he's been here so far, then, you know, who knows? And I think that we are still going through a major rebuild. A lot of players need to head out the door. A lot needs to come in the door. There is still so much to do. And I don't think Ange has ever not, you know, said any different. I don't think he said any different than that. I think it's the fact that we started off the season so well in those 10 games. I think, you know, like Leo said, a lot of people did get carried away. Ricky, let's come to you, because let's start. Let's talk about the starting 11. Ange Postecoglou made 2 changes today. Skipper Maddison coming in, Royale and Bentancur dropping out. Today's lineup: Vicario, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Skip, Sarr, Asuma, Maddison, Kulusevski, Son and Johnson. Subs today: Austin, Dragusin, Royale, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Lo Celso, Brian Hill, Mikey Moore and Dane Scarlett. Any surprises there for you, Ricky? Because, of course, as we've mentioned, you know, certainly on the podcast in the last couple of weeks or even months, it's very, very hard to predict what Andrew's going to do.
Well, for me, it was surprising that he took the risk in putting Skip there at left back. I'm happy that he did it because we saw that, you know, Emerson Royale, bless him, for all of these kind of wants and kind of efforts and energy, you know, he hasn't had the greatest of times at left back, and we know it's not his position and all of that jazz. But, you know, something had to be done, and he put Skippy at left back, and I was surprised that he made that risky move. But you can see, I think by seeing moves like that, you've got to give him credit, because obviously, you know, he hasn't got the squad that he needs to rotate those left and right backs and have the personnel to come in and do a job. And especially right now, you know, Davies is out. You know, you can see how much we've missed your doggy there at left back and how important he is to the way that we play, especially when we want to play that forward, front-footed kind of fluid football that we were seeing so many times. He's very important to us. And I think also you're seeing how much we're missing Timo Werner at left wing. You know, Johnson and Kulusevski, you know, for all of the good that they've done over the time that they've been here, there have been a few moments where you're kind of like, you know, we need somebody there, and the assists and the kind of interplay that Timo had up there, and I'm not saying he was outstanding, but I'm just saying you can see how much we've missed him, and having that outlet on the left that is kind of trusted out there. So, you know, today, for Ange to make that decision to put his Skippy left back, and then I'm so happy as well, because Skippy had an okay game. He didn't have the greatest game, but again, it's not his position at all. But I felt that there was more effort and desire, and there was more awareness around him. He was more aware of the players that were running off of him and stuff like that. And sometimes he had to pull a guy down or make a challenge, and he done it. But I'm really happy that when they took Skippy off and they brought Dragusin on, that they pushed Mickey van der Ven to left back. I think all of us had that in our heads over the last couple of games. You know, I was saying it after Liverpool that I you know, especially up against Salah, why would you not put Mickey at left back there? Do you know what I mean? But anyway, he's done it. He experimented with it and it worked, and it looked balanced again, and it looked powerful. And you know, we know how strong Mickey van der Ven is, but he's also a ball playing centre back. He's not afraid for a short pass, a long pass. He's not afraid of an interplay. He's not afraid of an overlap run. He's not afraid to be in the opposition's box. You know, he's not afraid of that. And it was so nice to see that towards the end. So, you know, again, like what Craig said earlier, I mean, big credit to Ange for the subs that he made at the times that he made it, because I totally agreed with all of the subs and the timings of those subs. And he's done well. And I think the boys done well to get over the line today.
Leo, let's come to you on the starting 11. What did you make of Kulusevski starting on the left this time around and Johnson going on the right in the first half? Because, of course, then Ange Postecoglou changed it to the other way round at half-time.
You're on mute, bro. Yeah, no, he switched over to you.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Craig. So repeat that. With on the left. Well, you know, the thing is, when Kulusevski first came, I was excited because he was him and what's his face, Bentancur, were just both of them. The impact that they had was fantastic, and I was really excited for Kulusevski. I think recently now, his form has not been that great. You know, he gets the ball quite a lot, but then it's like the end product is not there. You know, he cuts in, he'll go wide, and then the cross will be poor, or he will lose the ball. And now, whenever Kulusevski's on the ball, I just don't feel that something is going to happen. You know what? You know when you watch football. Hey, bro, look at him. Good to see you, man. You know when you watch football and certain players get on the ball, and you just know that you get excited because you feel something can happen. Or you watch football. Sometimes you watch football and you see players get on the ball, and you know nothing's going to happen, no matter what. Even if they're clean through on goal, you just feel like nothing's going to happen. And I kind of feel that now with Kulusevski and with Johnson, because they get into great positions, but the final pass just is lacking. And so for them, I just feel like, yes, we don't really have anyone else to come in to fill those gaps. And I hope that they can improve. I mean, 50 million for Johnson is a lot of money, and I hope he can come true with that for next season or in the future. But for now, I mean, it's all right, it's good, but we need better. I think, especially when we play football, whenever we get into the final third, it's like it slows down, peters out. The end product's not there. Crosses are going wayward. Decision making is poor, and we saw that a lot in today's game, especially with Johnson. He got into great positions, but it's either his shot is weak, or he doesn't see a pullback, or he overshoots the cross. Same with Kulusevski, the same thing. And so I don't know if it's a psychological thing. I don't know if it's an ability thing. All I know is that they need to fix up, because with the system that Ange is playing, because they're getting into those positions, all it needs is a quality, level-headed, relaxed personnel that can just do the final thing, and we'll be banging in those goals. The problem we have now, why the system might not be working too well, is because we don't have the right players in those positions to deliver the Ange football that is required. And so we have to just bear with the situation and understand that this is a work in progress. And when players do come in the windows coming forth, we can plug in those holes, because we do see what he's trying to do, right? And so when you put quality on the left, like when Son goes on the left, you see the difference. You see the difference when quality is in the right position. You see when Van der Ven is in defense, you see when quality is in possession. When Emerson plays left back, you see why quality is needed. When Udogie is in position, you see why quality is needed. So that's why it's important that
listen, you're killing the oxygen in that room, man. You need to take a breath.
No, I'm being serious.
You're killing it, man.
Thank you. I'm nearly finished. Listen, Chris, it's been 6 months since I've been in. Let me vent, please.
He's got a lot to say.
I told you I've got a lot to say on this thing. So if everyone just mute and let me just put it full screen. Right?
Can I just say, for those listening on audio, we've now got world record holder Richard Whitehead MBE with us.
Yes.
How's it going, man? And Leo's took 2 seconds breath.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm finished. I'm nearly done now. I just want to say, like I said, it's just about getting the right players.
He's got a script. This guy has got.
Once we've done that, then we should be excited. We should be really excited about what's to come. We should plug in those holes, and then hopefully,
Leo, I love you, man. You're killing the vibe. No, we've just lost 500 people on YouTube that are just sick of listening to Leo.
Congratulations,
that's the only reason you lost, because they're following me.
Rich, do you mind giving us your thoughts on today's game?
Oh my goodness! Quick one then. I think it's obviously we should be beating teams like Burnley. Today was a bit of a tough watch. The first half, my goodness, I think so many players are underperforming, and also you can tell, like I said on the last podcast, that a lot of mental fatigue had definitely set in, and some of the players clearly have already been told they're not part of the plans for next season. You can see that already, and we need a real overhaul of players over the summer. And I believe in the style of play. We definitely still need a plan B, especially on teams that come with that low block. I think the first half we didn't move the ball fast enough, and we got very stuck in our way, and it was like all the crowds getting really a bit pissy with how we were playing. And you know what I found is that obviously as a crowd we are the 12th man, and over the last couple of games that I've been come to watch, I've noticed that the crowd stopped singing the player songs until today when Van der Ven scored. And mate, it was unbelievable, like unbelievable. But when he got the ball, I was like, where's he going? Put it in the corner. Unbelievable, man. But we should be beating teams like Burnley. We've got aspirations to be Champions League, a Champions League team that goes for trophies. And at the moment, we're miles off it. Anyway, I need to go back to Nottingham.
Can I just say, going off subject for a second, I'll be running with Rich in June. So please, Rich, tell everyone how they can run alongside you.
Okay, on the 2nd of June in Nottingham, I've got a 5K run. Craig, Leo, and Ricky need to come along as well. Ricky needs to come along as well. It's 5K. That's 5K. Okay, it's not a marathon. 5K in Nottingham. Come onto my socials. There's a link on there. Sign up. Want to see as many Spurs fans as possible. Come and support. Say hello to all the boys because we'll all be there, right?
I can't do the 2nd.
Why not?
I'm booked.
Don't give me no bullshit. You're not doing any panto, mate. It's too early.
What's your excuse then, Mr. Norwood?
Sorry, bro.
What's your excuse?
It's in Ibiza.
I've been booked. I've been booked on the 2nd.
I might see who it is and then unbook you.
All right, let me make some phone calls.
Yeah. All right, mate. See you later.
Craig and Leo will be there, no doubt.
Awesome. Cheers, boys.
See you later.
Damn it, man. I was booked. Damn it. All right, I've got to make some phone calls. Chris is back. Let's go, brother.
We always have such great guests on. Where were we? Craig, let's come to you. Starting 11. Any surprises for you?
Not surprises, to be honest, to see Emerson drop out. That wasn't really a surprise after the performance last week. Seeing Skip in there, again, that wasn't a surprise at all because he did better than Emerson did. What I found a little bit frustrating is in his press conference, Ange said there was no injury concerns. Right. And then you hear a few hours later that Richarlison's out for the season. Now, obviously, we know managers do that. You know, they don't want to give any hints to the opposition about what they could be facing. So I kind of get that. But that was a bit frustrating that Richarlison's out for the rest of the season and obviously missing the Copa America, which is sad for him. I'm sure he's upset about it. But it was just like, when are we going to have a break with this bit of luck up front? You know, just as we got Richarlison back, as I've said many times in here, I don't think he's the answer going forward, but he is a number 9. And he's better at Son in that position than Son in that position. And then to lose him, think, okay, well, we should have enough to get past Burnley anyway, but it's still frustrating. He clearly doesn't know what his best centre midfield is. Obviously, bringing James Maddison back in there, he's still tinkering there, and I think we'll probably see movement over the summer as regards midfielders. Obviously, another number 6 has been bandied around. Somebody to perhaps challenge James Maddison in the number 10 role. There's a few names of people I've said on here before I'd like to see come in over the summer. We'll probably come on to that later. But for me, it will be interesting to see what that young lad we brought in from Sweden is going to do. His name is escaping me at the moment. Bergvall, that's it. That will be interesting to see how he beds in. He would hopefully hit the ground running in the summer, but in the start of the new season. But obviously, young lad, new to the Premiership, we've got to give him a bit of time. So, but this is all about the building process with Ange, isn't it? And getting the team and the squad he wants to progress us next season. I mean, you've probably all got names of people that you think is going to go out the door. I've written a few down here. Gil, Højbjerg, possibly Bissouma they'll listen to offers for. And Ndombele's got to go. Rodon's got to go. Lo Celso's probably going to go. Emerson Royale's probably going to go. And there's probably a few I've missed out there. So a few, well, not a few. There's a lot of names that have got to go out to start to get this squad in Ange's image and get that midfield settled, because it's far from settled and the front line is far from settled either. So you're going to see these changes. We've only got 2 games left now, so it's just getting over the line, like I say, and hopefully against Sheffield United, it shouldn't, in theory, matter what team he puts out. We should be beating Sheffield United, but let's get this season done, because I'm growing tired. I don't know about everybody else. I just want the end of season to come now.
Rick, let's come to you. Ange Postecoglou has just said, credit to the players. It's not easy after 4 defeats in a row, but I thought for most of the part, our football was good. Now, let's go on to the match instance today. After 4 minutes, a move started in our own box. A great move from Tottenham. Maddison ended up shooting, which deflected over the bar. That is the type of football that we want to see, certainly, at the start of the game, because we've started so badly in recent games. A minute later, though, a cross from the right-hand side, a header towards goal, Vicario making a good save. 3 minutes later, a Tottenham cross from the right, Kulusevski to Johnson. He hit it on the volley and it was saved. And then after 25 minutes, Burnley took the lead through Larson, Bird with the assist. Now, Sarr, Johnson, Porro, even Oliver Skip not closing down the assist. What did you make of the goal that we conceded, Ricky?
Again, Chris, I think it was way too easy. I think there was 2 challenges in midfield that we missed, but Larson just kept pushing and held onto the ball, and then found a great pass, really and truly, for the Burnley players to run in and score. For them, it was a good goal. For us, it was way too easy again. But I think that this is what I was saying at the beginning. I think there was a lot of anxiousness and a lot of nervousness, especially after the 4 defeats, especially after the way that we've lost some of them games. You know, the Chelsea one, we know, we don't have to go over it. Newcastle, there's been a couple where we haven't even looked like ourselves. And, you know, I think what Rich said there earlier about the pace of the game in the first half and the second half is a really good point that he brought up there. Because when we're playing quick, when we're playing when we don't have to think, when it's first touch, first time, quick passes, and we get that ball up the field, and we, you know, and there are options galore because we're bombing forward and we start making those decisions and the right decisions, but we start doing it naturally. Like we haven't seen that for a long time. And today they were fighting to try and get it back. And that's why I think there was so much indecision in our play today. And I think that you know, obviously it resulted in conceding a goal today. But in the second half, well, you know, obviously we brought it back in the first half with Porro, but in the second half there was I feel that they had enough. Sometimes you just have enough and you're like, you know what, like forget this, like I'm just gonna go and do it. Like forget the talking, forget I'm just gonna go and do it. And I felt that they just came out and they started popping the ball about, and there was some first time passes and they were starting to build that confidence, and we started to see that style of play that we've seen us play, win, lose or draw. Do you know what I mean? That we've loved over the season. It's only kind of fell off a cliff when we start doing short, safe, easily read passes or trying the same move over and over again, and it's still not being kind of effective. You know, Johnson versus Cucurella in that Chelsea game, same move, and like Cucurella had Johnson on toast the whole game. You know, so but that bravery, that kind of risk-taking passing, you could see it today in the second half. So to me, it was the first time in a while that we kind of just said, you know what, I've had enough, and they just started to do it. And thank goodness that not only did we get back into the game, but we went on and won it, you know. But yeah, bro, again, it was just really way too easy to concede that goal. We've seen it time and time again.
So Ricky, do you think it's because of we played better based on the opposition? Because it is Burnley, you know.
We
didn't batter them.
There is part of that, but we can look at loads of different things. Like against Liverpool, we started well, but you know, it was way too easy to get down up against Emerson Royal on our left side, their right side. It was way too easy for them to cut through. But the goals that we've conceded over the last 5-6 weeks have been too easy. Like they've been way easy. They've just cut through us. It's 1-2.
But if Burnley can do that, then and they're not the greatest opposition, then obviously a better team would, we've seen for the past 4 games.
There's been like a crisis of confidence that has been rubbed into these players over the last couple of weeks. Not just the last 4 games, but the last couple of weeks. And they've been punched in the stomach. And I think that we needed to get punched in the stomach today, but then overcome that, then go past it. And that's why the 3 points are more important for us today, just to settle that loss and to settle that losing vibe, and for us to now start moving forward, you know.
Leo, let's come to you. In the 29th minute, Kulusevski put in a cross. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Are you guys?
Yeah.
Kulusevski putting across, it was behind everyone. Porro was running in. Then Porro ended up shooting wide. In the 32nd minute, of course, Pedro Porro got our goal. Johnson with an assist. What did you make of Pedro Porro's equaliser?
Fantastic. You know, I thought his goal was, was really great. And again, it's personnel, talent. You know, when you put talent in the right position and they make good decisions, and he was able to execute that. You know, like I said, if there was other players in that position, that's probably not going to be a goal. And what I've really enjoyed about Porro this season is that he's like a goal-scoring, attacking player. You know, he can score goals. He can strike the ball. He's proven that this season. You know, and that's a great asset. And he's going to get more goals when the team is settled. You know, when everything is balanced, he's going to be in a position where, you know, he's going to have more opportunity to finish and score goals. And those 5 goals could be the difference between the Champions League, between qualifying for Champions League or not. You know, those Van de Ven defenders getting into position and scoring goals, and that's what the Ange system does. It allows players like that to come in there, Udogie, Porro, to come in there and do quality work. You know, and what Porro did today was fantastic. Obviously, like I said, and I know I'm keep hampering on about players like Emerson, but anyone else in those positions, that's not going to happen, right? So it's very crucial that, especially with what Ange is doing, we get into great positions where we can score goals. If we have the players that have the mindset to be chilled and relaxed, to be able to finish like what Porro did today, which was a fantastic strike, we're going to get more goals. More. We don't have to rely on just Harry Kane scoring all the goals, just like what Ange was saying. You know, we need to share the goals for everyone. And everyone this season have been in a position where they're scoring goals. Romero, Van de Ven, Porro. You know, it's not common for Spurs to have so many different players contributing to the goal tally. You know, so today was great. I mean, as far as we say, who crossed the ball? Actually, someone crossed the ball and went backwards. Was it Kulusevski that did that? I can't remember. But yeah, again, him, if he could contribute, he's not scored in ages. But if he scored 5 goals between the last 10 games, we would have probably qualified for Champions League. It's just these things that is just we're lacking, that's costing us big. But next season, hopefully, we'll get these players in, and then, you know, we can move on.
I do agree with that. Although I think that a Europa League place is progression, I do think it is an opportunity missed. The fact that Aston Villa,
I think it's progression. I think you're right.
Yeah. Craig, let's come to you. In the 34th minute, Brennan Johnson fouled to cross the ball. Heung-min Son was waiting in the middle, and he put it wide, which was really disappointing at that point.
Yeah, was that the one where he tried to score, do you think? Is that the one you're talking about, Chris? Yeah, it was a weird one there. I mean, to be fair, I must admit, the goal was there, was quite open. You see him had to look up. And to be honest, I was a bit surprised he didn't get it on target. Because, I mean, he was running quite quickly, and yet he could have squared it. But the keeper had made just a small sideways motion because he thought he was going to cross it to Son, and that left his near post open. So I was more frustrated he didn't hit the target, Chris, than actually put the cross in, if I'm honest, because that is how we score a lot of our goals. And you can see teams do their research against us, you know, low crosses in the box from the left or the right. And we've had a fair share of goals from that. But I think he should have hit the target from there. I think he should have scored, to be brutally honest. He's a funny one, Brennan Johnson. He has some cracking games, and he comes on and changes games. And then today, I didn't think he was at his best again. Obviously, he's young and he's still learning, but, you know, Mickey van der Ven's, I think, is the same age as him. And you can see how far Mickey van der Ven is along in his career and his progression. So it's a difficult one for me, Brennan Johnson. He does excite me sometimes. He's really rapid, but he's still obviously got a lot to learn at this level. But I think there's potential in Brennan Johnson. I have to agree with what Ricky said earlier, though. I think we've been missing Timo Werner the last couple of games. I know people have been slagging him off and he give him a hard time. But when you think about it, not only Werner, I said on here before, Solomon, I think we've missed the option of having Solomon because he was good up at Burnley. He set up a couple of goals, didn't he, for Son? Just something a bit different, a bit of a tricky winger that can take players on. And we've lost Perisic as well from that position, who used to whip in crosses with his ability. So it's quite clear we've suffered in those front positions. It would have been interesting how we would have managed had we kept everybody fit for the wing positions, whether Brennan Johnson would have got as much game time as he has so far. Perhaps they've played him more than they expected to. Yes, it's a funny one. It's clearly a very, very important part of Ange's system, that the wingers, they've got to do a certain job. And he hasn't had the opportunity to have a clear run with many of them, to be honest with you, because of injuries and whatnot. So, and having to move Sonny, into the centre as well. So a lot of moving parts to it. But going back to Brennan Johnson, not his best game today. And like you said about that cross, I think he should have actually scored.
Ricky, let's come to you in the 42nd minute. Heung-min Son's shot from 20 yards deflected over. Just before half-time, Pedro Porro crossed, no one there. Kulusevski was running in, but he was nowhere near. And then at half-time, it was 1-1. Kulusevski and Johnson switched sides. What did you make of Kulusevski on the left and the right? What do you think his best position is?
I think Kulusevski's best position is probably going to be the middle, I see why Ange plays him. He's a battler. He's a warrior. He's strong. He doesn't mind a dribble. He doesn't mind a challenge. But today, both of those wingers, the reason why they were switched is because they were too easily read on the sides that they were on. And they wasn't doing the job that Ange was asking of them. There was just too much indecision in them today, in Kulusevski and in Johnson. And we could see as well, as soon as they moved Sonny to the left, how different the shape opened up, and how, even and how the flow, how we started to flow and have somebody on the left that we could actually trust to dribble and trust to take on a player and to put a cross in again, So it's tough. There's still a lot of work to be done in that final third, like as everybody has said, but most importantly, as the manager has said, and obviously in both positions, really, I wasn't really convinced, but there wasn't too many options there. So Kulusevski on the left, can he play there? He's more natural on that side to try and whip in a cross on his left foot, but he doesn't play like a left winger, so it's a bit weird. But then on the right, we know what he can do on the right. He can hold the ball, but he normally switches to the left and then tries to ping one in to the back post. And, majority of the time he does. He can be very accurate, but his form and indecision, again, has come into play where they've just been wayward. So it's been disappointing, really, because he's got some great positions. But, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done with the wing play. Like Craig was saying there earlier, we've been really unlucky in the substitutes and in the options that we've had, because that's a way of having a plan B. And that's what Ange just said. Sometimes there's a plan B within the personnel that you bring onto the field to change the game, or to consolidate the game, or to hold the game, or to be more stronger in midfield, or to be more whippy, or to be more direct on the wings, or to use your pace, to use overlaps, balls over the top. But when we're limited to the same things, it's tough for Ange to change the game. What do you think? Is he back? All right, great. Chris is back.
Let's come to you. In the 51st minute, Heung-min Son had a shot which was blocked, and then a couple of minutes later, Maddison put a cross in. Johnson pulled it back, and it was blocked. What did you make of James Maddison's performance today?
Yeah, I think he tried. He tried, and obviously he's not been the same since before his injury. He tried. He did some great. You could see that he was trying, and I could feel that he really wanted to score today. But there was an opportunity where he got clear. He cut it back to put it on his left, and the keeper saved it. So I felt like he was trying, he played better today than the previous games. So, but he's still not yet to the Maddison that we know and love. He's still not reached that level where he's dictating the game, passing, pinging the balls left, right, and centre. But he got on the ball quite a lot. He tried to crossfield passes to Son towards the end of the game. He was getting more involved, which was better. Overall, I mean, I'll give him probably a 6.5, 7 out of 10 today. But again, we love Maddison. I just hope that, you know, he gets back into form, especially when all the full team is there. Maybe that can help him to play better when he knows, when we have a settled midfield. Because right now, like you said, we don't know what the midfield is. So I think once we have a settled midfield where everyone's comfortable, everyone knows everyone's movement, then probably we'll see the best of James Maddison really come out. And especially with movement forward, you know, because there's one thing having Maddison in the middle, but if there's nothing forward or thing to pass, because most teams are sitting back, you know, and if there's not that opportunity to thread the ball through for a recognized striker, then we're missing something, an asset that James Maddison can provide, because he doesn't have the outlet there. So overall, I thought he played okay today. He was good. I mean, again, we're playing against Burnley, so you know, but I gave him a 7. What did you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, I thought he was better today, Leo, to be honest with you, than he has been of late. I think that you saw glimpses today of the old Maddison, but I still don't think he's anywhere near what he was pre his injury. And I don't know what that is, whether he's still suffering from that injury. I can't think he is. Or whether he's had to change his game a bit because of the players and the formation we're kind of playing, and he was kind of building up a relationship with Sonny, wasn't he? Or whether the system is hurting James Maddison because the pockets he works in, where teams have worked us out, they're filling those pockets. He's having to come deeper to get the ball, which is not his game. He needs to be further up the pitch. It was good to see him go on a run early, in the second half. Do you remember the run he did in the second half? Beat a couple of players and had a fairly weak shot, but at least he was doing what we know he's kind of capable of. So, I mean, he's going to want to make the Euros, isn't he? He's going to want to make the squad, so that's going to be in the back of his mind. I would imagine he'll still go. I hope he does, obviously. But, you know, God, what talent have we got in that England squad? I know that's for another podcast, but thinking about people in that position and the front line is frightening. We should be winning those Euros with the players we've got. But anyway, that's for another podcast. But yeah, what do you think, Rick? Do you think Maddison's...
It was just nice to see a bit of the old Maddison back. It wasn't vintage, it wasn't 100%, but he was a lot busier, he was a lot nippier. Like you say there, the run and the shot that he had, all right, cool, he didn't score, but it looked a bit more like him. And it was nice to see him, after being benched, to sit, watch the game, and then when he actually starts again, to want to have a reaction, to want to not be dropped again. Do you know what I mean? That's what I saw from him, and that's what it was really positive for me to see, that he wanted to make an impression today. And yes, not everything came off, but the majority of the time it looked good, and it looked like a bit of the old Maddison. So fingers crossed, those ankles and the muscles are all good, and he can start to build on that.
Ricky, let's stay with you, because in the 57th minute, Odebert of Burnley took on a few Spurs defenders, went past them, shot. It was deflected over from the resulting corner in the 58th minute. O'Shea at the back post, completely unmarked. Why?
Mate, do you know what? You know, I was speaking to Darren Hart, and he was talking about the zonal defending versus the man-to-man defending. Now, just quick caveat, we saw that Man United played man-to-man, and they got destroyed by Crystal Palace 4-0 the other day. Do you know what I mean? And that's because they don't really have the personnel to go man-to-man against a quick team. For us, we don't have the heading ability, really, to go man-to-man. We have to kind of go zonal. This is what Darren was explaining to me as well, because Romero is probably our best header of the ball. But if you look throughout the squad, there's not too many other real players. You know, Mickey van der Ven, even when we signed him, the word was that the heading part of his game is the weakest. And not saying that he can't head, not saying that he can't do it, but it's the weakest part of his game. You know, so you know, you look at Porro on the right hand side, and whoever we play left back, not really aerially strong. The same with the midfield, Bissouma, Maddison, not really aerially strong. Maybe if we had a bit Bentancur in there, sometimes you could say, yeah, okay, but you wouldn't really kind of put your house on him to kind of.
Do you think we lost, just touching on your headering thing, do you think we lost, because I mean, Kane used to do a lot of that clearance on set pieces, you know, you know, so maybe because of that, we've kind of like, because he is great, like you said, he did a lot of defensive headering for us in many seasons. So probably that's what we're lacking, that presence.
I mean, we just have a lack of aerial presence, I think. And Harry Kane coming out the side, he was another aerial presence at this particular time. So that's why they've more played on a zonal marking, as in try and get there before the guy gets there. Do you know what I mean? Try and win the header, try and win the ball before the guy gets to you, and before they can win it. And I thought it was just a really strong point that Darren brought up at the time. And I didn't think about it like that, but he does have a point. We are not aerially strong. So again, to kind of put a man, you know, go man to man on that corner and to try and prevent that, yes, we would see it as being logical that we have somebody on him. But they're trying to play a different way. And right now we don't have that aerial presence or reliability. We don't even, you know, if you look at our three midfielders there, then you wouldn't really say that they are aerially strong either. So even if they come back into a defensive area and look to defend a corner, it's going to be 50-50 whether they get it or not. You know, you can't really bet your house on them to kind of do the job. So they've got to find another way. But again, it's the way that we've conceded the most amount of goals.
Drag this in, maybe.
Say it again.
Drag this in, maybe.
Yeah. It was great to have Dragusin in there actually as an aerial presence. You know, he is a strong boy and he does have an aerial presence. So, you know, maybe if he was on earlier, he could have been on him.
Leo, let's come to you. I know Radu Dragusin came on late on in the game. Should he be getting more game time in your opinion?
Absolutely. He should have played against Liverpool, you know, instead of Emerson. That was, like I said, that was my only criticism of Ange. I think obviously when we signed him, everyone was excited because I think he was linked with Bayern Munich, or I can't remember what was the team, and he chose Spurs. And so I thought, okay, you know, because everyone was excited about Dragusin coming in, his power, he can play, he can, you know, strong, he's a bit aggressive, and I thought, okay, fantastic. And since he's come on, we've not really played him at all, you know. And I felt like this certain games definitely he should have probably started, especially last week's game against Liverpool. He definitely should have started. He definitely should have had more games. You know, I don't know whether it's because of we wanted the Mickey van der Ven's pace for the system. I don't know, but maybe I don't know. Maybe just Ange didn't find a purpose to put him in. You know, or whether it be the system or just whatever games that are coming in. Because sometimes it's not. It's about the games that we're and managing players. It's all of these things that dictate who gets to play and who doesn't. You know. But definitely, I think Dragusin should have 100% be playing. I think even against Man City, I think he should play. I think he should play the last two games at least. And just what Craig said, even with our forwards, I think we should bring in the young lad to give him a go. You know, because why not? You know, we don't have Richarlison or anything, but yeah, Dragusin should definitely get a game for sure.
Craig, do you think there's any chance of Ange Postecoglou changing the zonal marking system for next year, having spent this season in the Premier League? Because he was asked in the press conference in the embargoed section yesterday, what have you learnt about yourself? He said nothing. Surely he's learnt something from the Premier League this year.
Yeah, I hope he has. I would certainly hope he has. I don't know enough about his time at other clubs to say whether he has purely gone with zonal marking before at Celtic and the other place been. I don't know. If somebody knows the answer to that definitively, please put it in the comments. But for me, I've never liked the zonal marking. I prefer man-to-man. But certainly for me, having Harry Kane at that front post, mopping up the corners to the front post is a massive loss for us. And I'm surprised they haven't stuck somebody there that can actually head the ball. I agree with Leo. Dragushin, I think in the air, he's such a strong boy. You can see how strong he is. It would be a plus to have him in their defending corners. And 100% Mickey van der Ven, for all his pace and everything else he's got, and for a tall lad, he's not particularly brilliant in the air. He's not as domineering in the air as he perhaps should be. So that's part of his game he's got to improve. Romero's pretty tidy in the air, I have to say. But apart from that, I'm struggling, to be honest. So for me, it'll be interesting to see next season which way he goes. Knowing Ange the way we do, I think he won't change anything, and he will stick with the zonal marking until it works, and he will hope it obviously works. So I think we looked a bit better from set pieces, but they weren't really surrounding Vicario. But as you say, headers free at the back post. There was a couple of times where people just weren't marking players, but they weren't as physical towards the goalkeeper as previous teams. The most thing about set pieces that really, really frustrated me is in the first half, certainly Maddison put in a couple of corners, and I thought Christian Eriksen was back at the club because it didn't beat the first man. So that was more frustrating for me. But looking at the defence, perhaps he just doesn't think, like you say, that we've got the players that can go man to man. And as you say, Manchester United got absolutely torn apart during the week. So yeah, there's certainly things for him to think about, Chris. And I can't believe that he hasn't learned stuff about himself.
The reason I ask that is because when you look at Mickey van der Ven and Romero, two of the best defenders in the Premier League, and I don't think I'm being biased there. We're still conceding so many chances because you take Tuesday's game that we'll come on to shortly against Manchester City, any Manchester City player will take that chance.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. I think if he was playing a better team today that could, add strikers or somebody that was better at headers, then they probably would have scored more goals. Stands to reason. But yeah, City, talking about City, they're purring at the moment, aren't they? They are absolutely purring. So that's going to be an interesting game on Tuesday. My God, what, Chris? Why did they? You said that the players did the lap of honour thing today. Why did they do that today and not on Tuesday? Is it purely because it's a midweek game? Do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be late.
Or maybe because we probably lose.
Fair enough.
Ricky, let's come to you. In the 59th minute, Maddison had a run at goal. Ended up with the goalkeeper saving it. 3 minutes later, Kulusevski passed forward. It was blocked. 6 minutes later, Kulusevski had a shot, easy for the goalkeeper. And then after 72 minutes, Heung-min Son to Pedro Porro, who fired over the bar. Rick, what did you make of Heung-min Son today?
I thought he looked a frustrated figure today. I think he was full of trying. He was full of running. He was full of endeavour to try and make something happen. But he looked very frustrated today. I saw him arguing with the ref, arguing with the linesman, arguing with some of the teammates, throwing up his hands, demanding the ball in one place when it's gone the other place. He was a frustrated guy today. He didn't like the indecision that was happening in that final third, and he didn't like the fact that there were so many opportunities for clear kind of passes, clear run-throughs, and opportunities at goal, but we ended up over-dribbling or playing too easy, playing too safe, and not putting it in at the right times. He was frustrated with the standard that we were setting ourselves. I did love to see him back out on the left today. He just looked silky. He looked silky and sexy as he normally does on that left-hand side. Do you know what I mean? He looked like he was in control of that ball. He looked like he could move it where he wanted. And, you know, not everything came off, but it was so nice to see him out there on that left-hand side today again. I love Sonny to bits. He's had a few kind of indifferent performances. You could argue that we haven't got the ball up to him in the right spaces at the right times. We haven't played a risky ball in a long time. So, you know, he hasn't had much to latch onto. But Sonny's always ever present. And I love him as a captain. And I love him the way that he stands up to the criticism. And he stands up and he delivers. He asks, he demands more from his teammates. Not only do his teammates respect him, but they appreciate him as a player and as a man. So him kind of being upset and being frustrated and shouting at everybody, I think was a good thing today. It wasn't just, you know, smiley, sunny Son. At times he can be angry and he can demand more from the team. And it was nice to see flashes of his pure genius and brilliance today. Long may that continue. And you know he loves a game against Man City.
Absolutely. Leo, let's come to you in the 75th minute. Ange made a treble sub. Scarlett, Dragushin and Bentancur all coming on for Kulusevski, Skip and Basuma. Tim Sherwood mentioned recently that he thinks that Bentancur will be one of those players heading out the door in the summer. Would you agree?
He agrees how many players leaving some of them, or which one specifically?
Bentancur. He said that he thinks Bentancur will be on the way out.
Oh, I mean, I love Bentancur. Benta pure class. That's what I call him. Obviously, he's not been the Benta pure class that we knew before his injury. He's not really reached that level. But when he came on today, he's got that composure. You know, he reminds me of what's our striker now? Spurs striker went to Man United, not Steady Sheringham. Berbatov, yeah. So he has that sort of Berbatov, like calmness and confidence and relaxed way of playing, and I think that's what is needed. And he especially when he came in with Kulusevski, both of them were just fantastic, and they were the reason why we won all the last games at the end of that season. And so I'll be ashamed for him to go, because I really like him. I really think he's a fantastic player. I think he's a player that can unlock defenses with his touches, with his movement. He's aggressive. He's got a brain on him, and he can score goals. I mean, when he came on, you saw him. He laid it off to Son, and he does that the late run into the box. And you can see he does that, you know, and he scores goals like that. And I think it'll be a shame if we sell him. I think we'll be missing a fantastic player in Bentancur if we let him go. I think we need to keep him at the team. And definitely he has to be involved in some way in the first team, because I think he's a fantastic. The players that I think should go are Højbjerg. I think Højbjerg's legs are kind of done now. I think he's one of the midfielders that I wouldn't mind him leaving. Skip as well, you know, and all the other guys that have not really got into Hill and all of these guys. Those are the guys that I would say, Emerson, Richarlison, yeah, those are the ones I would say get out. But Benta pure class, let's keep him in. I love him. I think like he would be fantastic next season, hopefully, if he's fully recovered from his injury.
Craig, let's come to you in the 78th minute. Brennan Johnson missed another glorious opportunity. A couple of minutes later, the ball fell to Sarr, goalkeeper saved, and then 2 minutes later, Maddison to Van der Ven, who of course got Tottenham's winner today. Great finish, and of course, player of the year. Talk to me about Mickey Van der Ven, Craig, because he seems to play for Spurs like he has been there for years. And remember, this is a very, very young, talented boy who has come from the German league and didn't play that much even there.
Yeah, as the old saying went for Gareth Bale, and I'm sure many others, he was born to play for Spurs, and that's the feeling that I get with Mickey Van der Ven. I just had such a good feeling about him after watching him, even against Brentford in that sort of dodgy first game. Something about him. As you know, I love watching players with pace, and to have a centre-back with just extreme pace we've never seen in the Premier League before he's just he's just an unbelievable talent that's just going to get better and better and better. Gets the winner today. He's popped up with a couple of important goals this season, in fact, hasn't he? And, you know, I don't mind him scoring. He scores as many as he wants. He get up there and whack him in the net if our strikers ain't doing the job. The only thing that worries me about Van der Ven is in a season or two, are Real Madrid or some of the big boys going to come in for him, and even Romero if they keep performing like they are, especially Van der Ven. He's going to be £100 million player, without a doubt. He's possibly, and I might be jinxing it, he could be possibly, in my opinion, the most expensive defender ever in years to come, because he's that good. Still got a lot to learn at the moment, so I don't think we need to worry about him going.
Yeah, don't be selling him already.
I'm not selling him. I'm just, God, that's it. I've what's the phrase? I've poked the bear now, haven't I? Let's not even think about him leaving. But if he carries on this trajectory, the big boys are going to come looking at him. I just hope we are up there with, you know, in the classification, big boys by that time.
Yeah.
And so we can hold on to him and players like him.
Craig, let's stay with you because 2 minutes from time, Lo Celso and Højbjerg came on, Maddison and Sarr went off. Another game where Lo Celso only given a couple of minutes. Are you surprised that Ange just don't give him a bit more time?
I am considering that Maddison's been off the boil, to be honest with you. But then again, I was thinking about this the other day. Lo Celso's been here since summer of 2019, I think. He joined in the same summer as Ndombele, of course. Now, he's played or been there under several managers, and none of them have given him good game time. So everybody calling for Lo Celso, me included, in the past, I thought, give him a go. They must see something in him that they don't rate, they don't like, whatever that may be. He's been on loan a couple of times. So perhaps he's just not at the required standard, not just for Ange, but for other managers. And they see him day after day after day in training. So, you know, perhaps he's just not doing enough. Perhaps he's just not good enough to play in this team, regardless of what Messi said about him for Argentina. Perhaps he's just not good enough. And wouldn't surprise me at all if he goes out the door, to be honest, in the summer. Personally, would I want him to stay? Would I miss him? No. I think it's probably time for him to go. But in answer to your question, in this situation we've found ourselves in the last few games, it has surprised me, if he's been fully fit, that he hasn't been given a bit more game time. Yes, it probably would have been worth slinging him in because, as I say, we all know Maddison's not been his brilliant best, has he?
So can I just say something quickly, just regarding Lo Celso? When he did come on, there was a moment where he was kind of chasing the ball, trying to defend, and he didn't seem as agile as Sarr is in that midfield. You know how Sarr is bombing up and down and aggressive, and players like that, Bissouma, are quite strong on the ball. And I don't know if that's the reason, because of the system and the fact that we want to press, if Lo Celso has that in his locker to play that system. Do you reckon that might be why he doesn't get the game, because he doesn't feel like Lo Celso can get about teams and press them the way that he wants to press them? What do you think about that? Do you think that could be the reason?
Could be.
Because I don't know why he's not playing. Until based on what I saw today, I just didn't think he had the legs. He just felt a bit sluggish.
I think he's never had that rhythm in the side. He's never had that amount of games to really get a grip of playing for Spurs, in my opinion. Of course, he's had the loan spells. As Craig said, he's played. I think if there was any opportunity of Lo Celso grabbing a spot in that team and really nailing a place in this team, it would have been under Ange Postecoglou. I've been very critical of Lo Celso in recent seasons, but I think we've probably got the best out of him this season. And I think that, you know, it might surprise a lot of people, but I think that Ange should have played him a lot more. I'd also say, Leo, I think Ange should have played a number of the under-21s and given them opportunities this year, because when Postecoglou came in, one of the things in January League was that Postecoglou is very much about developing players and introducing the youngsters into the team. So that is going to be very, very interesting to see what happens next year with that. But I do expect Lo Celso to go out the door, and I think it's going to probably be good all round for the club and good all round for him, because, you know, Spurs can then reinvest this money. and Lo Celso can go and shine somewhere else and win trophies, in another country. So I think that's going to probably suit parties. Lastly, Ricky, let's start with you. Of course, we do face Manchester City on Tuesday, the treble winners. They beat Fulham earlier today 4-0 at Craven Cottage. We know that is a very difficult place to go. It certainly was for Spurs this season. They are sitting top of the Premier League, exactly what all of us Spurs fans wanted to see. 85 points they've got from 36 games. Arsenal are just behind, 83 points from 36 games, so they have 2 points adrift. Manchester City have 2 games left. Spurs away, West Ham at home. Arsenal have 2 games left. Manchester United away and Everton at home. Manchester City are in superb form. The last time that they lost points or dropped points was on the 31st of March, and that was against Arsenal. Their last 7 games, including today, 7 wins. 7 wins out of 7. Beating Villa 4-1, beating Palace 3-2, beating Luton 5-1, beating Brighton 4-0, Forest 2-0, Wolves 5-1, and as I said earlier today, 4-0 away at Fulham. Ricky, what do you expect from this game? Do you think Manchester City will make any changes? And are you one of those fans that obviously want Manchester City to win the title, and you would rather lose this game that would gift City the title?
You know what? With Man City, they've been playing phenomenally. They are such a well kind of run football inside, as in like those 11 on the pitch. What Pep has got them, interchanging and working like a machine and being telepathic, but being brave and always pushing. In the Champions League games, I thought they was really unlucky to come out of it because, against Real Madrid, especially in that second leg, Man City were the only team on the field. It was the first time that I saw Real Madrid camp in their own box, only have one outlet in Vinicius and look a little bit scared, But, Real Madrid do what Real Madrid do, especially in the Champions League, and they ended up getting through. But Man City were unlucky. They have been playing phenomenal football, as they do. They've got some fantastic players. They are relentless. It's always a tough game against them, but you know what it's like against Tottenham. And Man City know what it's like against Tottenham. Now, could they have the opportunities? Of course they could. And, are we going to be, at our best? No, we're not going to be at our best come Tuesday. But I'm a person who loves Tottenham more than I hate anybody else. And that includes the Gooners. I love Tottenham more than I hate the Gooners. Do you know what I mean? And I don't really care what the Gooners do. I don't really pay them no kind of attention. I'm trying not to anyway. But yeah, so I always want my team to win. Do you know what I mean? So I'm
Ricky,
not gonna. I've never backed my team to lose ever, even in the worst of times. And Chris, even in this terrible scenario, I lived through the Gooners celebrating at our stadium. Do you know what I mean? I lived through that time where they were taking selfies in our goal. Do you know what I mean? Like, in the away end, celebrating the title in White Hart Lane. I've been there. I've seen it. I've felt that pain. I don't care about the Gooners. I care about Tottenham. So if, I always want my side to win. I don't care who they're playing against. So it's the same come Tuesday. I want my side to win. I want Tottenham to win. I want them to put on a fantastic display and go and get the 3 points. But I also want that scenario that Craig mentioned at the beginning of the show, which is for Man United to grab a point or to beat the Gooners, and then we're free to kind of, all of us fans and supporters, to just have all of the goodwill to go in to win that game rather than be a bit indifferent in the stadium.
Ricky, won't it be weird though if Arsenal lose or draw at Manchester United and then Manchester City, if Man City beat us on Tuesday evening, Man City will win the Premier League title at Tottenham? How do you think the Spurs fans will feel? And do you think that the Spurs fans will actually celebrate a defeat?
I don't know. I don't know.
They will.
It's a weird scenario, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that is a silver lining that I suppose we could all cheer along. But I don't know, man. Craig, what do you think?
No, 100%. I think if that scenario plays out, I think the fans will be cheering Manchester City winning the title. 100%. People will. Yeah. Because we like I say, we know we're not going to get Champions League now. And we only need a point against Sheffield United to guarantee it. And of course, that in itself only depends how Newcastle get on in the week. So I know Chelsea are winning 3-2 now, and they really excuse me, they can realistically catch us up, but sorry, not realistically catch us up, but it could happen. I could see the fans singing along with the Man City fans and celebrating them winning the Premier League at our place. It would be weird though.
I couldn't do it, man.
No, I just said, Rick, I don't know what you're talking about here, bro. Like, clearly, it's either you don't have Arsenal fans around you. That's why you're saying that. You see, I'm surrounded by Arsenal fans.
I do.
And so there is, hopefully, you want Man United to pick up points so where it doesn't have to get to that situation. But let's just say it does get to that situation. And, you know, and if Spurs win, then Arsenal win the league. Dude, let me be very clear to the Spurs fans right now. Let me be very clear. If we ever get into that situation, I want Royale to play left back. I want sub Van der Ven. Van der Ven doesn't play, right? I want you to put all of the dead players first team. The Celso starting. Richarlison injured, starting. I don't care. Everyone. My mum is ready. She's warming up right now. She's ready to come on. I want us to get battered, right? To make sure that Arsenal don't win that league. Yes, I'll take a loss. We lost against Chelsea, and we're still alive. We're still fourth or fifth. Sorry, we lost against Fulham. It doesn't make a difference if we lose. So why win and allow Arsenal to do this in front of my face, and then my WhatsApp, I'm just getting abuse throughout summer from Arsenal fans? Hell to the no. I want to get battered on Tuesday to make sure that Arsenal don't win. And if you don't accept that, then you're not truly a Tottenham fan. So I'm surprised at you, Ricky, for even you suggesting that Arsenal win the league.
I
We
don't care about him, bruv. I love Tottenham more, bruv. I love Tottenham more. I can't back my team to lose.
Yeah, surprisingly, I agree with Ricky.
What? Craig, talk to me.
Craig.
Am I the only one?
Scenario.
Fans, comment.
The ideal scenario.
What did you do? Let the fans speak.
Leo, the ideal scenario would be that Manchester United beat Arsenal, we beat Manchester City,
yes,
so we're happy,
course.
and then it goes to then it goes to the final day of the season, and then City win the league.
Listen,
yeah.
Listen,
I'm never going to say on this podcast that I want my team to lose.
No, but don't try and change the goal. We didn't say that. We said what was the situation if it was down to us who wins the league.
You did.
Don't try and change it now.
You're putting your mum in the starting 11.
Yes, my mum is starting. My mum's going in goal. Are you mad? Right now, I'll be saying, Mum, get the spaghetti on. Warm up. What are you doing? You know, she'll be running across the touchline. Are you crazy? Listen, we need to ask the fans to put on the comment whether they'll go Man City, for us to lose against Man City or not. We need to talk about that. But don't try. Don't. Yeah, but we're not talking about that scenario. We're talking about if it was up to us to throw a game to avoid Arsenal winning. That's what we're talking about. Not different scenario or anything like that. We're talking if it was down to us, if it was the last game of the season and it was Tottenham Man City and we had to decide if we beat Man City, Arsenal win. No, I want us to lose. And I want us to, yes, properly. What are the fans saying? Please comment whether you support me or whether you support the Judas that's Ricky.
Come on.
You can't be a Spurs fan if you're trying to tell me you want Arsenal to win the league.
I know.
Are you crazy?
There's hundreds of comments coming in now saying we know why Leo's only on once a year.
Because I speak sense. Because I'm here to bring balance to this conversation. I'm here to bring common sense. Think about it. You want a whole summer of Arsenal fans saying London is red. You want a whole summer of your WhatsApp group saying Spursy losers. We haven't won nothing for how many years? You want a whole season for us to be humiliated. The whole summer, I can't even go on the beach and get my extra tan because I'm even getting extra tanned from Arsenal abuse. I'm blacker than ever because of the abuse I'm getting from Arsenal fans. I don't want that.
Listen, Leo, we know how good Manchester City are. You're not treble winners for nothing. And I think that, at the business end of the season, as I've just read out there, 7 wins in the last 7 games. The last time they dropped points was against Arsenal. I'm sure that in these last 2 Premier League games, they will probably do enough to win that Premier League title. And
hopefully, but that's not the question you asked, Chris. So don't change the goalpost. You would want to beat Man City and let Arsenal win. That's what you said. Hold that.
No, I said I would never say that I want my team to lose a game. So
no, but that's no, I never said that. I wouldn't want my team to lose. No one wants their team to lose a game. We're talking about if to lose a game at the expense of Arsenal. That's what we're saying. Now, would you want your team to lose to make sure that Arsenal don't win? I'm waiting for you.
What's the question?
Would you want your team to lose so that Arsenal don't win the title?
Well, it might not come to that.
No. Well, you answered it, Craig. I'm asking you. Yeah. You ask us. Chris is a flake. Chris doesn't want to say. And I know you agree with me, Chris. Deep down, I know you do. But I'll let you off. Craig, what are you saying?
What's the question? I'm lost. What's the question?
I'll say it again. I know you want to say it, and I'll say it again. Would you want Spurs to lose a game so that Arsenal don't win the league?
I have to say, and I've said on here before, I'm kind of in Ricky Norwood's camp in that I never want to see Tottenham lose because ultimately, Leo, listen to me logically.
Leo, you've asked a question. Let's hear the answers.
Yeah. You're worse than Kate Burley. Honestly, you're asking a question and talking over like Piers Morgan. Jesus,
you're not flaking the answer.
No, here he goes again. Here he goes. He's gone again.
Nobody wants Spurs to lose. Nobody wants Spurs to lose. So let's not talk about nobody. I agree with you. Nobody wants Spurs to lose, but that's not the question I asked. I asked, would you want Spurs to throw a game so that Arsenal don't win the league? That's what I'm saying.
No, I don't. I'd never want to see my team throw a game. I think it's almost unforgivable because we are ultimately not
just lose.
We are not. No. But having said that, when we lose on Tuesday, because I think City will beat us, I won't be disappointed. Because I think, but I don't want to. I'm not going to go into that game. Cheering City or anything like that, because ultimately this is the fact that Arsenal are where they are and City are where they are. It's nothing to do with us. They're there by merit. So we got, and if Arsenal do want to win the league, they've done it because they've played well over 38 games. The fact we can influence it is neither here nor there. So can Everton on the last day. They could go to the Emirates and they could get something. So I think we're all getting a bit too mixed up in the game on Tuesday, to be honest with you. I think we're going to get beaten by City anyway. I don't think we got a chance in beating City. We only squeaked past Burnley today, remember. So I think it's going to be more or less out of our hands, Leo, if I'm honest. But I could never come on here and say I want Tottenham to lose. And I don't think I say you're not a Tottenham fan if you want that. I get what you're saying, Leo. I really do, because I know you don't want us to lose deep down. But I think you're getting anybody who thinks that you're getting too preoccupied with Arsenal. And I don't want to be preoccupied with Arsenal. My team's Tottenham. And I get it, Leo, though, that you've got loads of Arsenal mates. So it must be really, really difficult. I've only got a couple and I can just mute them. And they're nice lads, so I don't mind. So, but I do get what you're saying. I do understand your point.
Yeah, and I think Ange should probably give, some of the fringe players opportunities and some of the under-21s opportunities as well. So if that's answered your question, Leo, then I'm glad you're happy. Leo, I was going to say it was a pleasure having you back.
You can say it was more than a pleasure.
Leo, where can people find you and what you're up to at the moment?
Well, you can find me at Leo the Linegram on Instagram and Twitter or X or whatever they want to call it. So, and then also, there you go, Paddy Harnett. Well done. Of course, he understands. He gets it. You understand?
We all get
the
it.
True Spurs fan. I'm the true Spurs fan.
We all get it.
All right. Okay. So, quickly, I just want to do a big shout out. So, I'm this summer with obviously England are doing the Euros, but I also managed a international team called the UK Three Lions, which is here. Which is it? This one here, UK Three Lions. So I want to give a big shout out to the team. Basically, it's a team of artists and musicians and actors that play football. And so we enter an international World Cup tournament, and I'm the England coach. So I coach the team. So I'm going to be doing the whole Ange techniques vibes of that. So we're doing a tour this summer, playing Slovenia and Estonia. So I want to give a big shout out to my team from UK Three Lions. Big up, guys. I look forward to the season, hopefully, and I'm going to lead you to championship glory.
Well, I hope you're signing up Ricky Norwood in the summer transfer window.
Ricky, you listen. I'd love to have you on if you can play. I'll send you details.
If you can play.
I told you, Ricky, you know about this already.
I can play on FIFA. FIFA?
It was good.
I've got a dynamite thumb, bruv. It does the twirly. I can do free kicks like this. Wicked.
All right, cool.
Leo, thank you so much for coming back. Craig, where can people find you? What are you up to at the moment?
At DM9 on X, if you want to follow me, by all means, that'd be nice. I'm just, what am I up to? I'm just wanting the season to be over now, so we can all relax. To be honest with you, I'm kind of done with it, and it's terrible thinking that. Hopefully, this time next year, we'll be in a better position where we're looking forward to something, But just getting over the line to get that Europa League spot. Hey, look, it's an improvement on last season, so can't moan. And it's my 100th podcast today, I think. So, and we finished with a win, so that's all good, isn't it?
Well, thank you, Craig, and thank you for those 100 podcasts. You've done a lot of talking.
Worries.
But someone has done more talking than you. Is Ricky,
not as much.
Less podcasts.
Well, it's that way.
Ricky, thank you so much as normal. What are you up to at the moment?
Oh, thank you. Always an honor and a pleasure to be on, Chris, and especially after a win and with a fantastic panel as well. Yes, I've got a couple of meetings. I've got a couple of things that I need to do and get sorted. So, yes, I'm busy at the moment, my friend. I'm busy at the moment, just rushing around doing all of the admin things that I need to be doing. And hopefully some exciting things in the pipeline, but we'll see. It depends on the meetings, but I will let you know in due course. Also, I wanted to send a big shout out to all of the crowd, or everybody that was in attendance today that stood up on the 23 minutes for the clap for, it was Morgan, wasn't it, Chris?
Yes.
That yourself and Majestic let me know about, and big love out to his family. But again, the crowd, absolutely, you guys are world class, and you're class personified for standing up and just making a small gesture like that. I'm sure it's meant the world to Morgan's friends and family in a time of really dark tragedy. So well done to everyone that stood up and clapped. You're a class act, Tottenham Hotspur, and again, always lovely and joyous and a giggle being on with you, beautiful gents.
When am I next on, Chris?
We'll talk.
You cancelled my contract. What's the deal?
We'll talk. It will probably be next season, Leo, when we're in the Europa League. When you can come on after one of the Thursday night games. Let me just say as well, best of luck to the Spurs women who are in action on Sunday in the FA Cup final at Wembley against Manchester United. So hopefully the Spurs women can lift the FA Cup for the first time in our history. And also we could possibly lift another cup on Thursday evening as the Spurs under-21s will be in action at Craven Cottage against Fulham. So Wayne Burnett and the coaching staff have done an absolutely fantastic job with the under-21s this season. So very best of luck to them. I just want to give a big shout out to the people of South Korea, Finland and Singapore. We have again been the #1 football podcast this week in those 3 countries. So thank you so much for all of your support. And Ricky and Craig, I want to personally thank you for all of your input this season, because you two have been absolutely fantastic, and we have so many guests on, but you two are the most regular on here, and we do have a laugh talking about Spurs, of course, win, lose or draw. Leo, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much. We won't forget you. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has watched today and who has listened on an audio platform. So thank you for all of your support. And I will see you at Wembley tomorrow. On Sunday, as I say, the Spurs women take on Manchester United at Wembley. I'll see you there. Hopefully the trophies are coming. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.